Real Opinions. We're here on the radio again for our final show of 2015. It's quite sad, isn't it? A mini era. And we figured, since it's kind of the last time we'll be in 2015, we'll be able to talk about films happening this year, we'd kind of go over our favourite films of the year, almost, and our favourite musical moments from the year.
So
since
I
it's
mean,
a radio.
There's probably going to be overlap here with Fury Road, because I imagine it's, if not anyone here's favourite film of the year, it's probably our collective favourite film.
It's my favourite film of the year.
There you go then. So it's actually someone's favourite film of the year, and it's one of our favourite.
Someone.
What?
Me. You don't have to say someone like I'm not here.
No, I meant it's one of our favourite films of the year, so it's relevant. And it's also a good musical moment. Actually, it's not though. It's a cool musical moment in the trailer. In the film, it's not that cool. It's just a guy driving.
I think the whole film's really cool though, isn't it?
No, it's cool, but I mean, like, I think the trailer's use of it's better.
Yeah, definitely.
Is what I was getting at. It would have been better to have put it in the final car chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just use it for a guy shooting a tree. I mean, I like
the
that
guy
scene.
shooting a
I like
tree.
the scene. I
love
that music could have been saved for
maybe
a cooler moment, maybe.
Either way, that was. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it.
Yeah, no one's going to try and pronounce it. It's just the Mad Max teaser music.
If you Google Mad Max teaser trailer music, it will come up. We can't pronounce it. We're sorry. Moving swiftly on, we've got quite a packed show filled with reviews and all sorts this week, haven't we?
Yeah, we got a review of the Transporter. Is it the Transporter Refueled? I don't even remember what it's called.
That's what it's called. Yeah. Is it actually a sequel? Though?
No. Well, we were very confused. And it has no connection to the show either, does it?
There's a show?
The TV show.
Oh, wait, they're not... I thought they're separate to each other.
The TV show was like 2 years ago, apparently.
Oh, God.
And same... Yeah, it's always the same... So he's like James Bond. He keeps getting recast.
Except instead of like these like devilishly handsome British men, it's just kind of whoever they can find.
Yeah. Apparently they change his car every one, but it's always a fairly
It's
nondescript car as
I
well.
thought all the time it was an Audi. In the old
No, it's always an Audi, but it's always a different Audi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just an advert for Audi, basically.
Yeah, he really does look like Nicholas Hoult.
Oh, God, if you're ripping off Nicholas Hoult, something's very wrong. If he's the one you're ripping off, that's like ripping off that guy from Prison Break that's in Transporter 3. We've got quite a few. I'll tell you what, let's barrel straight into the next one. This is from a movie, I think it's probably my second or third favourite film of the year, The Voices, starring Ryan Reynolds.
It's by them again.
What do you mean by them again?
Well, they did Love Train.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a bit of connection here. We're about to play a song by the OJs, who also sang Love Train from The Martian, which is one of our favourite musical moments of the year as well. Anyway, this is from The Voices, which is the Ryan Reynolds starring schizo horror slasher comedy film thing that I really, really like. It plays over the end credits, and it's called Sing a Happy Song. So here is the OJs with Sing a Happy Song, which is arguably one of my favourite musical moments of the year.
How would you mean arguably? Surely you know. Who's arguing with you about what your favourite is?
It is one of my favourite musical moments of the year.
Good. So should we move into one of our reviews?
Yeah, go for it.
Shall we? Yeah?
I'm trying to remember.
Well, we have the Transporter. Do you want? While we remember, should we get the Transporter out of the way?
Go for it.
I'll do the plot synopsis. You come around here. Sorry for this. Jack's mic may have not been working. We don't know. So.
Right, okay, well, we could start again. It's
Yes.
fine. It's not like it's the biggest film of the season. Or anyone listens.
So.
Okay, so you just listen to silence.
Right,
I'm
so
gonna do this.
you do the plot synopsis because you seem to remember it and I don't.
Okay.
They drive.
Right, Frank, he's in France. He's the transporter, so basically anything that, if you want a getaway driver, you pay him, he does it. And so this group of women mercenaries just have paid him, and they've tricked him. I can't even remember how they tricked him, but the way that they're making sure that he does the job for them is that they've kidnapped his father. And
Yeah.
now, basically, they're holding his father as hostage to make sure that he does the job for them.
Yeah.
And then it gets very moral, doesn't it?
Kinda. It tries to, but actually his morals are quite.
I don't know how
Quite all
well
over the
sarcasm
place.
comes through on the radio.
So he's accompanied by his father, and it really, I think it really wants to be The Last Crusade. He keeps calling him Junior all the
It
time.
is like a mix between it's the Transporter meets
Fury
Last
Road.
Crusade and Fury Road. Yeah, it's like,
But not as good as any of those.
It's got like the best aspect of both of those. Not the best.
No,
the best
an aspect.
an aspect of both of those films, and then it just does it badly. I mean, there's driving scenes.
There's two driving scenes.
Oh yeah, actually,
There's
there's
two
no,
driving scenes in a film about car chases.
There's one.
There's these kind of they try and reinvent the way he does hand-to-hand combat, clearly trying to follow the raid model.
Yeah.
In the way that it's really fast and he's like fighting loads of people at once, and you'll like somehow implement the environment into the fight sequences. But it just looks really awkward. There's that one where he's fighting with drawers and like getting their hands caught in drawers and then like freeing, and it's just the most like you can tell someone sat down with, oh, we can really choreograph this. We'll make it really original. And like, yeah, there's a reason no one's ever fought with drawers before. It looks awful.
And isn't it that's like in the back of a club?
Yeah, well, don't all clubs have?
Oh yeah, they've always got
room?
that drawer corridor that I love to walk through. Yeah, it's just a mess, isn't it?
It's weird. Like, I know that this is a fairly unoriginal complaint to make of a modern day action film, particularly a cheap, not particularly good modern day action film. But it's particularly bad in this case, in that I know it can be said for like Taken and all them, the editing is incredibly fast. I mean, not the normal incredibly fast where it's like, it may be like each shot lasts half a second. I mean, here it's just like it's just like flashing images and you have no idea what's going on. There's that bit we were watching where we actually turned to each other and what just happened? Like he grabbed someone and then there was a shot of something and then the guy was on the ground and we were like, what did he do? What happened?
The first time you said the editing was really, really fast, I thought of the exact opposite moment. So when in the beginning there's kind of a prologue, and then right afterwards you're showing the bad guys again, and it's like 10 years later, and then the camera comes into this room full of 4 bad guys that were all introduced in the prologue, and so it pans into bad guy 1, and then does a black and white flashback of him, every shot with him in the prologue, and then bad guy 2. It pans onto him, and then black and white flashback of every shot of it, and it does it for 4 characters. And
one of them just gets out of a car. That's all he does for the whole film.
He's not even important. He's not important for the rest of the film. He's not important in the prologue, and it's just needless.
And there are efforts at adding comedy. I mean, it's hard to tell in this film what's meant to be funny and what isn't, but like mainly through the father character. Some of it he just makes very creepy.
Yes,
very, 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 very creepy. And he and his son seem to have a weirdly close relationship, giving a certain thing that they do with the women at one point. That's just like, whoa.
He basically, the dad kind of is kidnapped by these women, but he kind of just treats it like a holiday in a way, but like a very, very creepy holiday. Like.
So you get car chases. There's 2 of them. They're fairly incomprehensible in themselves. One minute there's one where he's like driving down the road, then he's driving by the beach, then he's driving by the tunnel, all in the succession of 3 shots, and you're like, whoa. So they're incomprehensible. They're few and far between, and they look really cheap. They're just like they managed to fall down in every way a car chase can. It's a film about car chases.
Well, it's like they sat down and had a meeting like, what are the bases of the transporter, and then they just crossed off every single one.
There's very little nice to say about it. I mean, I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse this year, and it was kind of entertaining because it was mercifully short. It was the 1 hour 20 that you want something like that to be.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Would I recommend someone to watch it as a because it's not so bad it's good.
No, it's not.
So it's just kind of and you can have fun with it if you're with people. If you're watching it,
I think the problem is you can have fun with it, but you could probably have fun with the Transporter 1 and 2 instead.
Yeah.
So
you can probably have more fun. Yeah. Great. What is your rating?
I mean, it's not good, but it didn't make me angry. Is the thing.
That's the thing.
It's not good, but my main feeling at the end of it was, well, okay, that was bad, but there was no anger or boredom or sorrow involved. Yeah. So
It's quite
4?
hard, isn't it? Yeah, I was gonna go for
4?
the same. Yeah, because it's just like it's not neutral. It's just well, we kind of feel neutral about it, but it's kind of just badly made. So
very because we haven't said this. Sorry, we watched it on did we watch it on Blu-ray or DVD? We watched it on disc. And obviously there were the special features, and some of them are pretty funny.
It's not Robodog levels.
It's not Robodog levels of delusion, but they did seem to think they seem to be talking about a different film to me.
There was a lot of talk about like artistic integrity
and the characters' journeys.
The characters' journeys.
Yeah,
which the characters.
Well, actually, I mean, I think there's 7 minutes worth. I think this is important to tell people what they're in for if they do choose to buy this. There's about 7 minutes worth of special features, more or less. Maybe a bit more.
I'd say even more, like 15 or something.
Oh, even more, 15. Okay, there's very
every minute is draining.
But I would say about half of it is just them recapping the film you've just watched. So
and it's like with flame transitions.
Oh yeah, no, it's like they got the intern to edit together the making of. Like, yeah, it's true.
Right. If you haven't seen the originals, watch those instead. If you have watched the originals, don't watch this one. Right. So we're gonna move into the next song, this is from Turbo Kid, which you guys saw at Fright Fest, right?
Yeah, we did. I'm sharing a microphone with Harrison now. This is intimate.
Yeah. So this plays not all the way through the film, but it's like a recurring motif, I guess. And usually it's actually played instrumental, but here this is the actual song. I think these guys wrote all the songs for the film, so it's
really cute, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a similar kind of situation to like Drive in how the soundtrack was put together.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I might have made that up.
It's got a similar kind of 80s vibe.
So this is Le Matos with No Tomorrow. Feet pause.
No,
pause.
Feet. Pause. It's kind of a sweet film, which you don't expect to say that about something that's so violent and disgusting, but it's sweet at its heart, isn't it?
It's just a shame that she's so annoying.
I didn't find her that annoying. I found her really
You
quite...
did at the time. In our review, you said you found her annoying.
Did I?
Yeah.
I found her quite charming at the beginning. She gets annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's just the same beat
I didn't
over
hate
again.
her, but I think if she was more appealing, I could have actually really liked the film. But because so much of it centers on finding her quirky and adorable, I was just kind of getting annoyed with her.
Stop the quirkiness. Stop it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, should we move things on?
Yes.
Because I'm going to do a little review of In the Heart of the Sea, the new Ron Howard film.
Oh yeah.
Because I got the opportunity to see that, and it's fine. I really wish it was really, really good, because I love Ron Howard, and Rush was, in my eyes, one of the best films of 2013, and I really liked what was the other film he made?
That other film Ron Howard made.
Yeah.
Apollo 13?
I was thinking of Cinderella Man.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know why Cinderella Man's always the one I go to, because I'm a sucker for boxing movies, but he's made some really great films, and he's really great with just general...
Like Angels and Demons.
Oh, don't. James, I know you're listening, and I'm sorry, but Angels and Demons isn't good. He's made a kind of a mixed bag, but more recently he's made some really great, like, proper Hollywood style, like, spectacle, fully emotional films, and this looked like a proper return to that as well. Like, In the Heart of the Sea, it's based on the true story that Moby Dick was based on, about a whaling ship called the Essex, which kind of travels from Nantucket to go whaling. Basically, they just go kill whales to get whale oil, and it's led by a captain that doesn't really know what he's doing. Chris Hemsworth is the first mate that should be the captain, and it's that kind of cliched, oh, I should have your job kind of thing. And it all goes a little bit wrong when the whale kind of attacks them. And the trailers would have you believe it's kind of like this whale film. Like I've heard
favorite genre.
Yeah, no, I heard a lot of people describing this as
a whale film.
No, as the
best whale film.
No, literally as the Chris Hemsworth whale film. That is how I've heard this film described, and like because the trailers is like Chris Hemsworth on a boat, a whale attacks it, Jaws with a whale. But that is like 20 minutes of the film, if that. It's the best part of the film. It's the most riveting part of the film, but it's over so quickly you don't get a chance to really enjoy it, and there's no full climax to it either. It's kind of a bit half-assed and a bit annoying in that way, because it ends up juggling all these different things. Like Chris Hemsworth is pretty great in it, and the cast themselves really great. Like Tom Holland's in it. He's probably got the biggest role out of the supporting characters, and he's pretty good. And the other supporting cast, like Cillian Murphy, they're good, but they're not in it very much. They kind of show up every now and again, say a line, and then disappear. The guy from Fear the Walking Dead's in it as well, and he's kind of annoying. And then there's this really stupid frame narrative with Brendan Gleeson and Ben Whishaw in it, where Ben Whishaw plays Herman Melville, the guy that wrote Moby Dick. And Brendan Gleeson is the guy telling him the story of the Essex, etc. But it just doesn't need to be there. It's neat and it's well acted, etc. But it pulls you out of the adventure so much that you end up completely lost a lot of the time. Like, just when you feel like it's really gearing up, they cut back to them, and you're like, why do that? Because you've just lost all the momentum. And that seems to happen quite a lot. Like, just when you think it's gearing up, it's over, or a scene cuts away too quickly, and it just feels really badly edited and a bit sloppy. Because it's just that central 20 minutes about the whale. The build-up's quite good because you're waiting for the whale bit. And then the bit afterwards just feels very wandering and it's not a proper climax. There's no big grand finale. It just kind of gradually fades out. It's like someone slowly turning down the volume. And they kind of end up shipwrecked for way too long.
But it is a true story, didn't you say?
Yeah, but at the same time, they could have dialed up the whale bits. I mean, you use a certain amount of artistic license, but at the same time, like, the whale bit there is an attack. I don't want to go too far into spoiler territory, but the whale attacks their ship more than once. That could have easily been spread across an entire film, but instead they cram it into this really short space of time so they can fit in another story of them being shipwrecked, like a survival tale, which is really cliched and has been done 1,000 times. It's like Castaway, but 300 years ago. And this really strange kind of backbone about whaling politics. Yeah, like, you're giving me that face.
But get a bit Phantom Menace. Like,
a little bit, yeah. There is, like, court cases and stuff about the whaling ship and all, and it's like, why are you doing this? And they feel like they have to... I mean, I can understand it's all part of building the sympathy up for the whale, because it's not just Jaws with the whale. You're supposed to feel for the whale a bit more than you would.
It's King Kong with a whale.
Yeah, no, that's how Ron Howard actually described it.
Oh.
He said it's more like King Kong than Jaws. He said it's more like King Kong than Jaws, because you are supposed to feel sympathy for the creature, and the way they do that is to kind of show the reason why they're going whaling, etc., which makes sense, but that could have been cut down dramatically. So you're kind of left with this kind of jack of all trades kind of film where some of it's good, but the bits that are good aren't in it for long enough, and the bits that are bad are in it for too long. And it's a bit chopped up and annoying.
I did kind of get that bit from the trailer, because it seemed like it was half action film and then half, like, the other trailers kind of portrayed it as like this almost Terrence Malick like thought on it. What is insanity? I'm stranded.
That's the thing. It kind of tries to cross the line between them, and it's really the annoying thing is there is a really great film here somewhere.
Yeah. Like,
if they had edited it differently, I get the feeling. I mean, I might be very, very wrong, but I get the feeling, because Ron Howard's next film, Inferno, which is the next, which James will pleased to know is the next in the. Is it Robert Langdon? Yeah. The guy in the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, okay. The next one of those. Great. That comes out next year. So I have a feeling...
anticipated of 2016.
I have a feeling that Ron Howard just rushed through the editing for this to get onto that.
Any film that you would rush through another one to make is Inferno.
Exactly. Nobody, like, Angels and Demons had, like, even Da Vinci Code had, like, a lukewarm opening at best. Why bother making 3 of them?
Especially it's his passion project.
Well, this one, like, In the Heart of the Sea, the producers were saying, they've been trying to make it for like 14 years. They've had the script since like the late 90s. The book that it's based on was published in like 2000. So like this script has been waiting around in Hollywood for so long. And they said they wanted...
Inferno is its down.
Basically, yeah. It feels like there's so much potential here, and it's just squandered and raced through and rushed over quite quickly. So...
That's actually, I'm genuinely a tiny bit disappointed.
Yeah, I was really disappointed, to be honest. And it's out, and another thing, it's in 3D. I don't know why.
Rating?
5.
Oh.
Actually, yeah, 5. Because the acting in it is really good. And parts of it are really good, but it's just so... It's like half a good film and half a bad film. So it all just kind of cancels out.
I get what you mean with that.
Yeah.
Right, what song are we going to be moving into then?
Well, this is Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah. Harrison's favourite band.
I do love them. And
I love them so.
And it's Give It Up, which is in Kingsman, which is my favourite film of the year.
Yeah.
Well.
Or full title, Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Yes.
Because there will be a Kingsman ... something else.
Yay!
Or so I hear.
Yeah.
Yay.
Is there a sequel to the comic book?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's in the process of being written. The thing is that the comic book is, in this case, is actually not written, but it's got Matthew Vaughn has a story credit on the comic book because he was actually involved. It's almost an adaptation of something that he invented, unlike with say Kick-Ass, where he did come to this, admittedly whilst it was being written, and started adapting it. This time he actually started. He sort of came up with the idea. Mark Miller started writing it, and then he started making it whilst Mark Miller was writing it. So it was still the similar thing in that they were making it alongside each other.
So it is very much a collaboration.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was so much a collaboration.
They do, like when they're pitching them, they talk about like the differences that they're gonna have, and sometimes like things will make it into the comic book from the script for the film. Like the entire ending of Kick-Ass, the comic book was different until they started making the film, and then they were like, oh, okay, we'll change it. So it does. They sort of feed into each other. It's like similar. This is such a weird comparison, but a similar thing happened when they were making the video game for Avatar. Loads of stuff from that video game made it into the film.
What?
Yeah, it's
The
really
video
weird.
game?
Yeah,
The video game was crap, though.
I didn't play it. I wasn't an idiot. I didn't buy
It was terrible.
Blue people Avatar, not like
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's strange because you would have thought that it was so technologically like they spent so much time.
Well, they did. It was the game was in development for ages as well because it was like touted as this like, oh, we're gonna kickstart the trend in 3D gaming that went nowhere.
Oh wow, I have not heard about that at all.
Yeah, you had to have a 3D TV and no one had them back then. So
No.
It's probably got some awful Let's Plays online or something like that. I'll scroll through it. But
Should we mix things up in our review of the year a little bit, considering this is the last time we'll probably talk about films? Should we talk about our least favourite films of 2015?
I've already done that quite extensively.
I know, but like now we're here. What is your least favourite film of 2015, Harrison?
it's very obvious.
Okay. I'm
we
not,
could arguably play a song, but we're not going to.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, I'm not.
Because he will just start screaming and breaking things.
I'm not
but
going to rant again. I'm just.
he hasn't done this on the radio yet, so.
It's 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, it's poisonous and it's
Toxic.
just the worst thing to happen to cinema. I mean, it's to be fair, I will give it the credit of it's competently made. Like, the cinematography's fine, the editing is fine, all of those things are fine, but it's just the content. It's like it doesn't matter how well you execute it. I would rather watch a badly executed film with neat ideas than something that's just so vapid, so empty, so just offensive to humanity as a species. And and people keep going, oh yeah, but Dakota Johnson might be a good actress in other things. It doesn't matter. She's not in this. So that's not a defense. You can't, okay, George Clooney's a good actor. He's not a good actor in Batman and Robin.
That's true.
You wouldn't defend Batman and Robin by saying, oh, George Clooney can be good in other things. It's like, yeah, he can, but he isn't in this. So what a pointless defense. Like, Ben Affleck was in lots of bad films, and he was quite bad in them, but Argo doesn't make those other films better. And also, incidentally, Dakota Johnson hasn't had an Argo. It's like, what is her great proof that she, like, it's just all based on she might be a good actress. She might be terrible, but she might be good one day. We don't know. You don't know that. I say I wouldn't.
Yeah, I was literally just gonna say.
You said you wouldn't rant, but you just ended with, you don't know.
It's horrible, and I think it's fairly misogynistic. I think it's fairly just
Everything.
I mean, it's incredibly lazy. It's incredibly badly written. It's incredibly pandering-y. It's incredibly dull. It's just everything wrong with things that human beings can do.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was your least favourite film of the year?
I see. I feel like I can't even go against that now. But my least favourite film of the year is The Human Centipede 3: The Final Sequence.
I can understand that.
Which is terrible, but for
as well.
Completely different reason.
Yeah.
It kind of like part of me, because I've seen some really terrible films this year. Like Taken 3 is
That's
terrible.
the thing. This year it was so like the rest of my top 10. Any other year could well have been the worst film of the year. But this year there's been a lot of bad films.
They're like Taken 3 I saw was one of the first films I saw this year, and it was still one of the worst. It's so terrible you can't tell what's going on. M. Night Shyamalan's new film, The Visit, is just atrocious. Like, it's really
very much the same.
boring, and it tries to be funny, and it's not funny. It's all over the place. But Human Centipede 3 is plain old offensive. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna like do what you just did, but I can't describe what happens in the film on the radio, but when the best actress in your film is a porn star, something is very, very wrong. And it crosses over, it tries to be all meta, and it tries to take the mickey out of itself, and it doesn't really. It just ends up being very, very sad, very, very disgusting, and all for no real reason other than to just be controversial. So people don't pay, or people don't download no one really pays to see a Human Centipede film, do they? I mean, the people that watch it, the fans in inverted commas, are the people that probably torrent it, but none of them watch it because they think it's a good idea or because they think it's well made. They
an endurance test.
Yeah, they watch it because it's controversial. They watch it because it's disgusting or whatever. But now it just feels like it's beyond a joke. It's just the same poo joke.
It kind of reminds me when you were I don't know, 10, and you would try and impress your friends by watching the scariest film you could, and you were kind of ooh, I watched Halloween, and you thought it made you tough.
Yeah.
That's what 20.
That's what the Human Centipede is for people who aren't 10.
Well, it's the same poo joke again and again and again, now repeated 3 times.
But with more people, right?
With more people, yeah.
That's different.
Person attached to other person's face attached to another person's bottom. without going into the near swear words things that we're not allowed to say on the radio. One person defecates, the other person therefore must swallow it.
That sounded like a philosophical statement, not a description of the film, but
that is
Plato.
That is a description. That is a description of the whole film, of the whole first film, right? That is also a description of the whole second film, except instead of there being 3 people with that happening to, it's now 12 people. And then in the third film, it's just that, but 60, 70 people. And every now and again, something else disgusting happens, and that's kind of it. Why?
Completely unrelated note, I feel like there must be so many essays on it online, because you could compare it to anything.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
but
it's
Plato
for anything. Plato.
They're just so badly made as well. I'm thinking why?
I don't know what the plot
is. It bothers me that people would
write
essays on it and stuff. It bothers me that there can be this kind of discussion and conversation about it when really we should be laughing at how terrible it looks and just pushing it swiftly under the rug. It's just, it shouldn't exist as a film, and it bothers me that now there's 3 of them and they get worse and worse and worse.
There is going to be a 4th one.
In space. Before we
wouldn't surprise me.
It's like Tower of Babel.
Before we go into, I assume you've got a worst film of the year. Yeah. I assume you do. Yeah, I just wanted to do, because you did a few honorable mentions and I didn't. I neglected to do that. Monsters, Dark Continent.
Obviously.
Is that okay? Okay.
Spoiled.
Well, more on that later. Pixels.
Oh yeah, I never saw Pixels.
And then one that, I saw worse films, but one that made me personally angry, rather than necessarily being that horrendous, was Poltergeist, where basically
you got very angry at that.
I feel like if I hadn't seen Poltergeist, it would have been a 4 out of 10. If I'd just seen Poltergeist, it would have been a 3 out of 10. Because I love Poltergeist, it's a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, you did give a reasonable answer behind it. I mean, we were a bit fairer behind it, but you acknowledged that it's just more the nostalgia than anything.
Yeah,
and it is a bad film. It's just through and through.
Yeah, even on its own merit, it's not good, is it?
Yeah, but my worst film of the year was the previously mentioned Monsters Dark Continent. I mean, I know it's not inherently badly made. I mean, it's kind of similar to how you'd call 50 Shades in some way, in that it's capably made. It's just I've seen worst films throughout the year, but I've never seen something so dire in the cinema. I've never
it's so dull.
I've never felt so bored in a cinema. I just wanted to fall on the floor because I thought that would be more entertaining. And it's just I've never walked out of a cinema. I've never walked out of anything being offended by how bored I was. I've never thought I was bored. This is so offensive to me, but it was just. I mean, it was very quotable. You can't quote it on the radio because every quote is basically just them screaming swear words at each other,
or just screaming.
But there's
for the sake of screaming.
When there's things where they all bundle on one another, and then the dramatic voiceover goes, "They don't understand us. They don't understand what war is like," and they're just hugging each other. Yeah, basically, he compared it to, what was this, His Heart of Darkness, the director's.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not particularly subtle. It just is the same story.
Harrison,
but
as
with
someone
monsters.
that's read Heart of
I've read Heart of Darkness. Yeah, it's like Heart of Darkness, but I know a lot of people think that not much happens in Heart of Darkness.
No.
No. Heart of Darkness is like Fury Road in comparison to this.
Basically, yeah. I would not recommend it to anyone unless I
hated them.
Unless I very much hated them and they were locked in a room and they couldn't quit watching it. But just don't watch that film.
It's directed by Tom Green as well, which just doesn't bode well for cinema when you have the name like Tom Green.
Oh, what? Because Freddy got fingered?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a different
Tom Green.
It's a different Tom Green, but they should just, if your name is Tom Green, you should be not allowed to work in, I'm going to say cinema, but you shouldn't be allowed to work. You shouldn't be allowed to do a thing.
We're sorry, Tom Greens of the world. It's not your fault.
Moving a transition from worst films to a pretty great film, I'd say. We all thought it was pretty great. I mean... Ex Machina, which came out this year.
Oh, on such a note, have you heard of the Biffers?
The Biffers?
The British Independent Film Awards.
Oh yeah, I heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ex Machina just won all the big ones.
Oh, all the big ones?
Yeah, like screenplay, director, film, all of them.
I mean, it's definitely one of the biggest British films of this year.
Definitely.
Along with, I'm trying to think what the other ones would be.
Amy,
yeah.
Kingsman.
Is Kingsman a British film?
No, it's American. Isn't it?
Yeah, no.
Isn't it American
Matthew
production,
Vaughn.
though?
I mean, it's distributed by Fox, but it's produced by Matthew Vaughn.
Marv,
Yeah,
isn't it?
okay.
Is Marv
Yeah.
British?
Yeah, so it's American distributed, if that makes that much of a difference.
I feel
Distribution.
like they must be very pedantic with that kind of stuff, because I know there were some British films that was because of technicalities with companies.
Gravity was counted as British.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just strange considerations. But anyway, Ex Machina, there's one scene that stands out, and it's the one thing that I could think of where it was a memorable music scene this year, because I'm awful. But this is a dance scene from Ex Machina.
Picture Oscar Isaac dancing.